This Wednesday, temperatures in the upper 80s and our dew point pretty high. And as we look at what's happening with our temperatures for feels like kind of range, 95 is the feels like temperature. Here we are with our current temperatures, mostly around 90 degrees. We have some upper 80s as well, and our, again, feels like temperature upper 90s to near 100 expected this afternoon. Not that much of a wind, mostly from the north up to about 5 or 10 miles per hour. So just a little bit of a breeze at times. Quiet on our satellite imagery, although there are some strong storms out and about. We'll keep a near 40 to 50% chance for a few more scattered storms this afternoon and evening. Our high temperature is expected about 91, similar to what we had yesterday. Our temperatures this evening drop through the 80s, and looking at our forecast, what we have going this week is some low pressure in the upper atmosphere that's dropped into the southeast after we had this dome of high pressure that's now to our west. That was what was over us over the weekend when our temperatures were soaring to 96, tying a record high one day over the weekend. Now it's retreated off to the west a little bit. So with this low in place, a bit more scattered rain around. That's why our temperatures have finally broken. Yesterday, the high was 91, 5 degrees lower than earlier the day before. And today we're expecting about 91. But then check it out. Moving into the end of the week, that low starts to retreat back to the north, that troughing feature. And we start to see a bit more of this high pressure build in. So we'll be on the edges of it, but we are expecting a hotter kind of setup into the weekend and especially early next week. And since we are on the edges, we could have a couple of storms as well. Now, looking at the tropics, we're tracking Tropical Storm Brett. Not a threat to us at this time, but we are just watching it. And we have one more spot, which I will show you in a second, farther out behind Brett. But Brett has increased with its intensity now at 60 miles per hour, seeing some gusts near 70 miles per hour. Still moving fairly quickly at 14 miles per hour to the west over these warm waters, and starting to see a little bit of better structure there compared to yesterday when it was really just getting going as a weak low-end tropical storm. Now the forecast keeps it at near current speed or maybe even just slightly more intensity over the next couple of days, and then brings it into the Caribbean Sea. But we've been saying for days now, when Brett reaches the Lesser Antilles, when it moves into the Caribbean Sea, it will probably weaken because there will be an upper troughing feature, and I'll show you here with our wind shear forecast, tracking the progression. All the brighter colors are wind shear, so it's going to be having that to deal with as it approaches and then moves into the Caribbean Sea. Also, it will have some dry air as it moves out over the Caribbean, and that upper trough may actually kind of draw in some dry air as well. As we know, that's not good for tropical systems to strengthen, so we're expecting it probably to fall apart at some point toward the end of the week when it does reach this general spot. Now, looking at the next spot out there, a high chance now for development. This is Brett. This is Invest 93. It's nothing yet. It's just a tropical wave. It hasn't been designated a depression or storm or anything. If it does get that, it would be Cindy, it looks like. But just tracking it, let me show you. This is Brett, and then behind it, this is Invest 93. Let me show you the low pressure centers with our two big global models. Note that moving into the Caribbean Sea, look what happens. By June 24th, in a few days, Brett is kind of fizzling here from both big models. And here would be Invest 93. And this one might follow a high pressure spot off to the north and not even reach the Caribbean Sea. So that's why we're thinking, even though there is some activity for sure in the Atlantic, and we've been keeping you updated, we'll continue to do that, of course, but we're not thinking we're going to see any threats this week and possibly even beyond in our part of the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf Coast, U.S. 7-day forecast is showing our rain chances staying about 40–50% over the next few days. That takes us into Saturday. And as you make your weekend plans, looks pretty typical for summer. First day of summer, in fact, today, and it is pretty typical for summer with that chance for a few storms and those high temperatures continuing lower 90s. That's about average for this point in June, but look at those temperatures zooming upward at the start of next week when that high pressure starts to strengthen.